Hello, welcome to Pendulum Friday. It's November 3rd. Wow, into November already. All right, great question. Thank you so much for the contributions, the support. It's all amazing. I'm very grateful. I thank you very, very much. Just quickly, for anybody who is looking for a private reading, I am actually currently booking as early as next week, like the 13th and 14th of November. Oh, so sorry, the week after. Um, mid-November. So if that's something you're interested in the Dropbox below is an address, soulprint888 @gmail.com. Just send me out a quick notice saying you want some information and I'll send it out to you. All right, let's get to these pendulum questions. In case you're new here, consider subscribing if you haven't. That would be amazing. But let's just talk about my pendulum for a second. And actually, before I get to the questions, there was a comment or a question that came up during the week about. Okay, hold on. Let me do this first. Okay, so when the pendulum is ready to talk to me, it goes side to side like that. It means I'm protected. It's ready to talk. When the answer is yes, show me yes. It goes back and forth, and no is round and round clockwise. If it just sort of stops and doesn't move, that typically means that either the answer isn't available, it's none of our business, they're not prepared to discuss it right now. It's just kind of a no. Um, so there's that. There was a question that got asked, I think it was this past week, about, you know, can I trust my pendulum? Because there are times that I can sort of make my pendulum give me the answer I want. And you know what? That happens, and that happens to everybody. Part of the reason is honestly, the more invested you are in the answer, the harder it is for anybody to completely trust their pendulum because there is that sense of like, listen, if I'm not asking the questions out loud, I'm asking them in my mind, and the pendulum responds to that, and I'm really hoping the answer is yes. It is possible actually that the pendulum is going to respond to that. When that happens to me in my personal life, I tend to do muscle testing, okay? That is how I will confirm or not confirm the pendulum's response. So for me, um, muscle testing is really simple. I'm just going to show you quickly how it works. So you take, your two fingers and lock them like this, okay? Um, and the thing is, your muscles are reacting, so it's really not something that you can kind of force to happen. I mean, I'm sure if you put some effort into it, but that's kind of not the purpose. So I'm just going to ask a couple yes/no questions, right? Okay. So my first question is, um, am I recording this for my YouTube channel? And you'll see that my fingers like lock in, and I can't get them opened. Okay. Is my first name Samantha? And it just lets go. So that's a no. So that is what I do when I'm kind of not sure if my pendulum's trying to answer questions or just make me happy. Um, so give that a try. But honestly, yeah, the answer is of course it can. And the more you want an answer, the more likely it is that you should double check the question, ask the question a second time, do muscle testing, use another discipline if you want to double and triple check. Also, make sure that your pendulums are getting cleared. I personally just love sitting them, sunlight, moonlight for, a 24-hour period, just leave them out on a window ledge or something. And that's how I tend to clear mine. Okay. There's tons of ways, but that's how I do mine. Okay, so let's just get hopping here. So, pendulum, first question. I just want to know, I just want to see the end of the crazy here in the US. Any chance of that happening in the next few years? Okay, so pendulum, is the United States going to experience a sort of a calming energy As we move forward into 25, 26, 27, like that time frame. Okay, and we're getting a yes on that. The reason I started at 25, 2025, was because it just feels like 2024 is going to be one of those years where a lot of stuff is getting wrapped up. There's going to be still the trials, there's going to be the election in November. So that sort of chaotic energy that's going on now, I think it may even become more amplified. Before I forget, thank you, Amazing Joyce, for once again compiling these questions and firing them out to me. Next question. When Biden wins the presidency in 2025, love the way that's phrased, will he put Marianne Williamson in the White House? No, no, there is too much. Um, there's sort of too many questions, I guess, about her. I mean, there was a connection to Russia. That's certainly not something with everything that's going on that you want. She should have, in my opinion, she should have stuck to writing because she really wrote some beautiful, sort of spiritual, inspiring kind of words. But I don't ever actually see her in politics. Will Democrats lose a lot of voters because of Biden's support of Israel? Okay, that's a no. I have to admit, just from the outside, I'm a little confused because the US has always supported Israel, so I'm not exactly understanding why something would change. But as I've said before, I am like staying away from the whole Gaza things, the whole Hamas thing, the whole Israel thing. I don't like the energy. I'm not crawling into that space. Do you see Jack Smith starting to issue indictments to House representatives and senators involved in the attempted coup on January 6th before the end of 2023? No. No, there's a list of names, and I'm just going to go through and double check. But um, is Matt Gaetz going to be indicted over January 2026 within the next couple of months? Is that going to happen? Jack Smith. Okay, no. Green. Marjorie Taylor Greene. No. Biggs. No. Boebert. No. And Josh Hawley. No. Energetically, I'm he needs to deal with what's on his plate right now. And that will be something that happens down the road if it's going to happen, but it's definitely not going to happen this year. Will Judge Aileen Cannon be removed from the documents case in 2023 or early 24? Is she going to get removed? Okay, so right now that's a no. As frustrating and aggravating as what's going on out there with the delays and the slow walking, to the best of my understanding, she actually hasn't done anything that would be, serious enough to have her removed from the case. It's like a really big deal to get a lawyer or to get a judge off of a case. Will Sidney Powell experience any accountability by the court for saying that she was forced into pleading guilty? Is there going to be any sort of accountability to that? Okay, so I'm getting a yes, but don't get too excited because I think that the accountability may very well be something like a reprimand from the bench, something like that. Um, you know, the judicial system has gotten, I think, really used to separating kind of the wheat from the chaff, if you will. And what gets said in a court is what's taken seriously. And the nonsense that these people spew for public consumption is not so much. I mean, unless it's obviously threats and like that kind of thing. Question: Kelly Johnson didn't show up for Mike's swearing in as a speaker. It seems, and he seems to be shielding her from the press. Is he afraid that she is going to say something that will compromise his speakership? Okay, so that's a yes. They have been very, very busy scrubbing their websites, making sure that some of their more extreme ideas are removed. And is Mike Johnson still going to be the Republican Speaker of the House by the end of March, the beginning of April? Is he still going to be in that chair? No. Is Karen Pence happy that Mike dropped out of the presidential campaign? Yeah, she is. Will Pence endorse Trump? See, it's gone completely still. It's not going to answer. So what that means is either Pence hasn't made a decision yet. That is what it means. Or for some reason, the pendulum, the energy regarding that isn't clear. I guess we'll say it that way. Is Ivanka's testimony next week going to hurt or contradict her brother's and father's testimonies? Yes, in some instances. So far, the brothers' testimonies have been a lot of, well, I didn't do that. That wasn't my responsibility. I mean, Eric Trump is muttering. He was like running the company when his dad was president. The company everybody knows is really not a construction company anymore, as much as it is a branding company, just, throwing the Trump name all over the place. But when he was asked what he did, he's like, I pour concrete. Where do you pour concrete? Exactly. So there's a whole lot of, it wasn't my job, it wasn't my responsibility. I don't know going on. So I don't know how much real, um, I don't know how much damage she can do because they don't seem to be saying anything incredibly significant. Will the Speaker of the House, whomever it might be, certify Joe Biden's reelection in 2024? Yes. Yes. Did Putin have a heart attack last week? Vladimir Putin, did he have a heart attack last week? I'm getting a yes. Is good old Vlad still alive? Yes. Sorry, it was going to fall. How long do you see the Middle East in chaos? I can't answer that with a pendulum, I have to tell you. It does. Are things in the Middle East going to settle down within the next couple of months? Yeah, no. I mean, once they start, it seems that it just goes on and on and on. Will President Biden be successful in getting his positive messages to the public? Yes, and I'm just going to add an additional question to that, which is, are the Dems going to be successful at getting out positive, accurate information to counter the nonsense being spewed by Republicans? Are they actually finally going to be able to effectively counter? Okay, so let's hope so. Will Trump's cult slowly fade away? Yeah, I think what they're going to do is some of them are just going to go back under rocks. It's not going to vanish. But I think that as more and more people see Trump for what he is, I think that you're going to see more and more people splintering off, right? Will the jerk Republicans get a budget together, and will they include funding for Ukraine and Israel? All right. So just before I started recording this is like Thursday afternoon at, I don't know, like 5 o'clock Mountain Time. Apparently, the House passed a 14, I think, billion-dollar budget for funding for Israel. I didn't read anymore. It didn't say that it was part of the budget. It didn't say that it was part of Ukraine. It was specific. It just specifically said for Israel. But it also said that that was going to, there was going to be a bit of a battle once it hit the Senate, because this splintering things off and doing it piecemeal is not something certainly that Biden wanted. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So I guess the question is, I'm just going to narrow it down a bit. Is the current House Republicans, are they going to actually get a budget together before the budget deadline of November 17th? Is it more likely than not that they'll manage to get something through? All right, that's a yes. Is that going to be typical of the way these things pass, and they're nail biters and they just shove them through right at the very end? Yeah. Okay, so this is again going to be one of those that's going to go right to the wire. Will there ever be peace in the world? Okay, let me answer that. Okay, so the pendulum says yes, and I guess the distinction is, what do we define as peace? We live on a planet that is about finding balance. It really is sort of yin yang, right? It positive, negative, dark, light. So I don't think energetically that this planet will ever become, nirvana or utopia. What it will do is, as people continue to evolve and grow, I think what you're going to see is less volatility, less sort of quickness to jump into wars and to aggression. But this is not a planet where there's going to be just sort of a whole lot of positive energy, because the planet is about balancing. It is about achieving that balance and growing from there. So, I guess the question at this point sort of is yes, but not in terms of a utopian kind of hi. Would you like to say hi to everybody? Look at the camera. This is Atlas. Okay, I'm almost done. You wait. Oh my God, that Atlas off. Thank you. Good boy. All right, so now you've met Atlas. I swear I'm trying to get the whole video stuff done with the cats and et cetera, et cetera. Anyways, listen, it's Friday. Have a fabulous weekend. Do something nice for yourself and somebody else, and stay safe and be well. And I will see you next week. And don't forget that tomorrow morning on Saturday, the crystal tarot card readings will be released. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Atlas and I wish you a happy weekend. Bye-bye for now.